Hello and welcome back to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries run-through of Wizard of Legend. We are finishing up our Neve Citrine run after we have successfully gotten the Thunder Drop, which is not, honestly, a very good Arcana in my personal opinion. The secondary strike on it, because we got the enhanced version, is nice, but that means what you usually want to do is open encounters with it, and I prefer opening my encounters with dashes because, you know, movement that I can track is more important than movement that just happens, you know? As Annotation Gerda mentions here. It does combo very nicely with Nova. It does, but comboing nicely with Nova is something that pretty much everything does because of how Nova actually functions.
Some skills work better than others.
They do. like Thundering Chain just works amazingly well for almost everything. Does a boatload of damage, stuns enemies for a couple of seconds. It's very nice. Ooh, the Helm of Midas. We probably won't be picking that up, honestly.
The evening gloves.
The Midas relics are honestly really powerful gloves. The Midas relics are really powerful relics if you decide early on that you're not actually gonna be spending all that much cash. You're just gonna be dependent on the drops that you get. In that scenario, the Midas equipment can actually give you some really powerful steroids. But I don't actually recommend it, especially because now that we have Spark Array, we have successfully triggered Neve Citrine.
Beautiful. And we have this beautiful yellow cape inner. Yeah.
Yes, every couple of seconds we end up sparking. It's very nice. So, we have... I'm not entirely sure how much critical hit chance we have right now. It's not 100, but it may as well be 100 given how many fucking attacks we're throwing out.
Right, in every attack series, you're probably going to deal at least one crit. Moving fast as lightning. Now we have Static Shock. Yeah.
Did you ever try to watch the entire series for Static Shock, Mr. Cloud?
No, I never really got into Static Shock.
Okay. It was a good superhero show.
Nice to be reminded of the natural forces that surround us, like static electricity.
So many lightning effects.
Now we have a reminder that our character is electrifying. Because every second or two he has a little spark, like he's been running his feet over a carpet for too long.
That's still one of my favorite jokes from Ed, and Eddie, where Double D is attempting to explain to Ed the properties of static electricity, and Ed totally overblows it and nukes his house.
I am Electric Man.
So how many jokes from Ed and Eddie do you think the Family Guy stole from?
You can't steal from a thief, Mr. Gerdat.
That's not entirely... That is definitely not something that I personally believe in. I mean, I get why that's definitely a thing, you know, in legal terms, sure, but like, especially when it comes to comedy, it ends up falling flat from my experience.
Well, let me put it to you this way. A quote that stuck with me was, what is the difference between an author and a plagiarist? An author does the same thing, except he's better at it.
Alright. Oh, we did pick up the Helm of Midas. Cool. So the Helm of Midas will grant us additional percentile defense based on how much gold that we've got. Since we actually have, since we've bought all of the Arcana that we need, we don't really plan to spend all that much more gold. And now we just, you know, explode everything.
Yeah, all you have to do is just don't spend any more money for the rest of the run.
And since the run is already almost over, because we've got what two and a half segments left. Yeah, we got 3-2, Zeal, and then the run up to Sura.
Is it possible that we finally found a costume piece that can hold a candle up to the Sanguine Attire?
Well, the terrible thing is, we've got the first half of the Sanguine Attire on already, Mr. Cloud. If you recall, we picked early on in the run, we managed to get lucky enough to score the Vampire eyeglasses. So we've already got one of the major benefits, specifically that every time we score a critical hit, we heal slightly. It's just that we don't have the full attire yet.
Oh, come on! Don't you want the homing Koopa shell? The blue spike shell. Yes, the Mario Kart 64 blue spike shell, the most powerful item ever put into a video game.
You say that, but to be perfectly honest, I honestly think that shock is actually a significantly more powerful item than blue shell. Like blue shell hurts more when you get hit with it, certainly, but it's specifically hurting just one person. Shock hits the entire fucking board.
Yeah. Well, what if you get in the path of the blue shell?
Okay, so we'll hit 1.5 persons.
Collateral damage. Nah.
No, because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure in Mario Kart 8, our Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe specifically, the blue shell actually starts off flying. It didn't used to start off flying. It actually did start in 64, and I think even Double Dash. It actually started off grounded and then would take to the air eventually. But in 8 and 8 Deluxe, it actually starts off flying. So.
Well, I think the difference in Super Mario 64 also is that they did not have to add a flying property because among the Mario Kart games, that probably had the fewest instances of the character being airborne.
Which was honestly a bit detrimental to the track design in 64. Yes, I know everyone fucking loves Mario Kart 64, but I will stand by that Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Double Dash are just significantly better fucking racing games than Mario Kart 64 is, especially in the multiplayer on the multiplayer side. It's partially why we've not actually done Mario Kart 64 for the channel, because we can do Mario Kart 64 for the channel. I just really don't want to.
I think I had a chance to do Mario Kart 64, but it looks like I'm going to have to go back to square one.
And behold, the Vampire's Fang. So now we have the Sanguine Attire tied with Neve Citrine. I am now lightning Alucard.
What about King Leonidas?
No.
You know?
Mostly because...
Tonight we dine in hell.
But here's the thing. We no longer actually have the graphical effect for the Helm of Midas, so the Grecian Legionnaire thing is no longer a thing that's happening.
Like they ought to put a segment in a walkthrough, like just one chapter. How to avoid being a vampire.
Step 1: don't ever talk to Nox. With these 4 steps, you will successfully avoid being a vampire forever.
Shuck.
So now that we have successfully become Lightning Alucard, and we even purchased our Stygian Turtle Shell, what's new in the world of Mr. Cloud?
Well, I finally finished reading Consider the Lobster and other essays by by the late David Foster Wallace. I am definitely glad I picked up that book. I think it's informative. It's well researched. It makes you think. It makes you laugh. You might even come out of it looking at the world just a little bit differently, because after 20 years since the book came out, it is still relevant. And that is the mark of a good book, is a book that continues to be relevant even, you know, well beyond its maturity date.
Alright, so do we want to try and use the singing bowl, or... no, we're just going. Okay. The singing bowl is honestly a really interesting one. I think it's very powerful in Earth Arcanic builds, but it's not one that I ever want to get good with because, you know, the frenetic action is still something that always calls to me.
The madness. It's calling my name.
Thundering Chain, Shock Nova, Bolt Disc, Thunder Drop, dash in between everything, and at some point make sure to throw out the Word of Lightning. Behold, Zeal is half dead.
Don't you laugh at me. Oh boy.
She's almost down. There, Thundering Chain for game. And we barely took any damage, Mr. Cloud. Wah!
You're really on fire this time.
Yes. Alright, Flame Empress Zeal. Now that you're down, let's move on to the run-up to Sura. Thanks to the takeout box, we open with a small shield, and we can continue to you know, just abuse the fuck out of all the chaos pawns. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but it feels like Neve Citrine also decreases our cooldown slightly. That may just because of how much signature charts we have that allows us to refresh our cooldowns immediately. But I feel like Neve Citrine also reduces our cooldowns. You know, maybe just by 10%.
Signature charge. That still cracks me up that they actually put a pen into the game to tell you that it enhances your signature charge.
No, there's actually a bunch of writing utensils in the game that have got similar effects to the ancient fountain pen. You know, like the Mobius Quill specifically is another writing instrument that interacts with the signature charge. So, ooh, the Royal Flush.
Nice.
We will never be this fucking powerful again. Not a chance in fucking hell. So, the Royal Flush gives us 20% additional damage because we have, what is it, 7? Yeah, 7 Arcana of the same fucking element. Oh, and
nice.
We also got Claws of Tomo in order to have our Ahold Disc have a higher critical hit chance. Alright. Let's go, Sura. We've got a full fucking shield against you. I didn't actually go over what the Stygian Turtle Shell actually does. It increases your invulnerability frames after you get hit.
Oh, good. That's really useful.
Yes, it is. I'm not entirely sure if it doubles them or not. I don't think it does, but it does increase them somewhat.
Well, because just like we can inflict rapid-fire hits on our opponent, we can also receive that in return. And that's where invincibility frames comes in, because if you're not hittable when the attack lands, then you take no damage.
Right.
Even if the invincibility expires the moment after the attack is done.
Alright, Sura. Are you able to deal with our onslaught of lightning arcana?
I said, can't you deal with that?
Alright, he's a quarter down. Or was it closer to 20%?
About 22%.
Wait for him to dash. Go!
Nice. You activated my trap card.
Okay. And...
that looked like a jump cut.
No, it was not a jump cut. Sura's actually has far more mobility than we do. He can act, if you're too far away from him, he'll just do a fire teleport to the other side of the fucking map.
Right, and because the camera's concentrated on him, as every good boss battle should have a camera that's reliable, that it's going to look like the screen's jumping, yeah.
Alright, as Annotations Gerda shows off, although this should have been our final run, there's one more run that we want to show off before we're done with Wizard of Legend. I'm not going to show off any of the mutator runs because I'm not actually good enough at the game to have the mutator runs be successful. So, but yes, once again, Sora gives us the Insignia of Legend, and he also gives me 1 Chaos Arcana. Which one did we get this time? We got the Arcane Intervention. Ha! Yeah, Juno and Sum. We are better than Juno and Suman because we've got all 7 Lightning Arcana, and they usually only have 4 or 5. So there. And yes, we have to go through the cleanup epilogue every time you finish the game. There's what we decided to start with. It was very nice. I honestly think that I should have picked up Awe instead, but as my cloak. But I wasn't entirely convinced that Awe was the way to go. Had I known that I was going to be getting Sanguine Attire, I would have definitely gone for Awe as my cloak. But you know, I actually really like having Rule on, so. Room. Alright, so we still have a couple more cloaks. We have this last cloak, Pride. So Pride is the hard mode cloak. It very specifically cuts your health and disables shields. But yeah, it's I actually forget what the positives of Pride are.
It's nice when games don't give you a difficulty slider. They just give you equipment that changes the difficulty for you.
Yeah. Alright, so this is what Arcane Intervention looks like. It is fucking terrible.
Well, you have to draw enemies to the little black purple pillar?
No, you have to draw yourself
pillars.
to the fucking purple pillar in order to detonate them. So we won't be using that in the next run. Be safe, everybody.